Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Candace Owens said that Charlie Kirk literally helped Trump get elected. No, he didn't. Nobody helped Trump get elected because the people didn't get Trump into office. The people that are the never Trumpers are a part of a class of people allegedly that actually is responsible for getting Trump in office, but we're about to prove that. She's also going to say that Miriam Edelson, according to her, Charlie Kirk told her that he was present when Miriam Edelson offered Donald Trump the money, and what Trump allegedly told Charlie Kirk was that he's going to take Miriam's money and then he's going to f her over, right? I encourage you all to go and watch the rest of Candace's video. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. But that's what she said. And then a few weeks later, the Butler situation happened, which led people to believe that maybe they had something to do with it. They told Trump, look, this is what almost happened. It's going to happen again unless you get yourself together. You're free to believe what you want. This is what I'll say. Before we get into this, I'm going to preface this, in a way that you can't deny it. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in this country? The answer is yes. It's undeniable. It's irrefutable. Yes, there's everyday Freemasons. A lot of you all have them in your family. Let's get a little bit more granular. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in powerful positions in this country? We all know the answer is yes. Let's get a little deeper. Is there a such thing as Freemasons in powerful positions in this country that follow the very things that they teach in Freemasonry? Well, duh. Why would you be in something and you don't adhere to the rules? You don't adhere to the teachings, the rituals. Do Freemasons engage in rituals that they are sworn to secrecy? Duh. A lot of people in powerful positions in Hollywood, politics, media, are they Freemasons? Verifiable Freemasons? Yes. Even the ones we can verify does not mean that they're not Freemasons. A lot of them we can verify. What am I getting at here? Well, if you just say yes to every single question, you're in a really tough position if you're about to try to deny where we're about to go with this. Because if you want to call anything I'm about to share with you a conspiracy theory, we just established that Freemasonry is real. We just established that a lot of the presidents, most presidents, all presidents except for two, if I remember correctly, on paper. I have reason to believe that all of them are. But all of them except for two on paper, tracing their lineage, their bloodline, are related to each other. You think that's a coincidence? I thought this is an open market, a free market. We get to decide. How are they all related? We also know that it dates to the royal family. The royal family are Freemasons. That's not a conspiracy theory. Most presidents verifiably are Freemasons. Did you hear what I just said about Freemasons? Let's go a step further. This is a guy by the name of Steve Jackson. Anybody know who Steve Jackson is? Well, don't worry. We won't have time to waste today. Steve Jackson is the creator of something called, make sure I get it up on the screen so that nobody's confused. Steve Jackson is the creator of a card game that came out. He created it back in 1981. It debuted in 1982. It's called the Illuminati card game. The Illuminati, the game of conspiracy. Just so people are not confused here, this will be one of the most important lives I've ever done. When they say Illuminati, are you in the Illuminati? The Illuminati is actually a family, a bloodline. What they really mean, and they don't know it, is Freemasons. The powerful ones, not the everyday local ones, the powerful ones. Well, this is one of them. His name is Steve Jackson, and he created something back in 1981 called the Illuminati card game. In just a year, that being 1982, it actually won an award for the best science fiction board game in the world. Just so a decade later, in 1994, the year I was born, he actually would win the best card game in the world. What's important to not forget as we continue here is that nothing I'm about to share with you took place before 1981. Everything came later. How did they know this stuff? Let's start off with a really good one. Let's start off with the undeniable one. That will be this one here. This is the Enough is Enough card. The Enough is Enough card is one of the cards from the card game. It says, and I want you to listen here because this will be very relevant. It says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. One could take this as a shot at Trump, being that this is clearly Trump here, allegedly. It looks a lot like Trump to me. I put this collage together side by side so you all can see it. Why is this also important? It says, at any time, at any place, our snipers can drop you. Have a nice day. Well, let me show you all something. I've already shown this months ago, but a lot of you all didn't see it. A lot of you all are new to this. The name of that card game is called Enough is Enough. A lot of you all saw it. Well, let's take a listen to what Trump had to say. I believe this is September of 2020.
As I look out today at this amazing assembly of police, detectives, marshals, and sheriffs, I want to make all of you remember and heed this promise. I will always support the incredible men and women of law enforcement as much.
Watch his hand signs the entire time. A lot of people think this is innocent. Specifically with Trump, it's not. I know Candace does this a lot. I'm still not for sure how I feel about it. But with Trump, it's undeniable that he's doing this on purpose. And there's going to be another hand sign that he does, specifically when he says a phrase that is very relevant to the card I just showed you. Listen closely.
As you have always supported me. The attacks on our police are a stain on the very fabric of our society, and you are entitled to leadership at the highest level that will draw a bright line in the sand, not a red line in the sand that isn't gone over, but a bright line in the sand. And we will protect you, that I can tell you, and we will say enough is enough.
He's going to say what? And listen very closely. This will be the last words he says before the video ends.
Enough is enough.
That's how he ended his speech. So it wasn't like, oh, this is just random words he said in a random speech that you just went and found. No, he specifically, strategically said that at the very end. His hand sign went from the first version of 666 to the second version of it. Oh, it's conspiracy, Satanist nonsense that Didi's pushing. Bro, we just established that Freemasonry is real. We also established that Freemasonry involves Freemasons and participate in rituals. They also engage in hand signs.
We'll say enough is enough.
He went both hand signs that both equal to 2020 66. But I got something else for you. Do you all know, if you've been following this channel, then this is not news to you, that the very last thing that Charlie Kirk would post to his YouTube before September the 10th, let me show it to you this way. The very last post, let's go 1 row, 2 row, 3 row, 4 row, the 5th row. If you had to guess what the last post was before Charlie Kirk was allegedly taken out, which of these posts do you think it would be? On this row right here in the middle. Which one? Well, we know it can't be this one because it already has the freedom shirt. We know it can't be this one because it has Erika Kirk giving the speech at the quote-unquote memorial. Well, what about this one here that has neither Erika Kirk, Tyler Boyer, Charlie Kirk, none of them? Instead, it has Donald Trump. Look at the title of this video. Enough is enough. Man, all these coincidences just stack up. Let's take a listen to what Trump had to say in this video. Let's listen to what Trump had to say on the Charlie Kirk YouTube channel. Not what Charlie Kirk had to say. Let's listen to what Trump had to say.
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it.
This is what they decided to push on the enough is enough. Really? We've proven on Patreon, obviously can't show it on YouTube for obvious reasons, that there is a strong chance that this never took place. These are not real people. They use this as propaganda. Again, link to the Patreon is in the description. Look at this comment here to the right. It says, this is his last video ever. You think it's a coincidence that his last video is entitled Enough is Enough and it's Donald Trump? Yeah, okay. We're not done. Let's go a step further, man. Let's go to the charismatic leader. There's a card game called the Illuminati card game. And as I've already established, there were cards in this card game. There's one called Charismatic Leader where he is hosting the crowd. Looks a lot like Trump to me. How would they know this in 1981? Can anybody answer that for me? Nobody? Well, let's move on to another one. And this one is going to be interesting as well because this one is actually going to involve something that I can't say outright here on YouTube. But you all don't need me to tell you what this card game is quote unquote predicting, but they're not predicting anything. This is called predictive programming, which is really big in Freemasonry. Play this card at any given time to give power of resistance to any violent group you control. How can they put this out with 2 buildings on display? Let me get this off the screen before they flag the video. We're not done. Let's move to the next one. For those of you that may have seen these, I guarantee you I got some cards that you haven't seen before. Stick around. What about this one? How would they know this with the 2 6s at the bottom? How would they know this? In 1981, they reappropriated or redistributed the card game in 1994, or 1993 or whenever it was. It's still the 90s. How would they know this? Just so you can get a better appreciation for the irony here, check this out. This is a side by side. Anybody want to explain this to me? The top one is called Pentagon. The bottom one is called population reduction. What's going on here? Let's take it a step further. For those of you that have never done this, you can take the $10 bill, the $20 bill, the $50 bill, and the $100 bill, and I guess we just got another coincidence where you can literally see the very images that they displayed to us when these events took place in America. You can make these events on the money, on the $10 bills. What's going on here? All right, let me show you another one that I had, a special type of appreciation for. I'm gonna look at the chat this time. Anybody want to tell me who is this person? The title of this card is called Backlash. Who does this look like to you? I want to see. I want to see what you all think. Come on, let me hear it. Somebody got to give me. Who does this look like? Looks like Charlie. No, it doesn't. Gavin Newsom. No. I'm gonna throw out another name. How about Barack Obama? Now look at it. That looks like a young Barack Obama. Why is this important? Because this card here is called Backlash. There was a lot of backlash when Barack Obama won. You had a lot of people that didn't like him because he was a black man. You had a lot of people didn't like him because they didn't trust him. You had a lot of people didn't like him because they didn't know if he was really born in America, right? You had a lot of black folks that did not at the time, and definitely today, do not like Barack Obama. I'm one of them. There's things I appreciate about him. I love his professionalism. I love his swag. I love his personality at times. The things he stands for, the things that he actually did and did not do in the White House, whether he was allowed to do it, maybe he had great intentions, but when he got in there, they didn't tell him that the sink was ship, the ship was sinking. However you want to view it, he received a lot of backlash from all angles. Anybody want to debate that? Yeah. I got a better one for you all. It's really about to get good. You all remember the Las Vegas incident that we can't mention on YouTube? You all remember that incident that took place a few years ago? Tragic incident. Who was the artist that was performing that day? Do you all remember that day? Let me see how many of you all are informed. Who was the artist that was performing the day that the Las Vegas powwowing took place? The PSYOP. Link is in the description to the merch store. Absolutely. Shout out to Tammy. It would be our good old buddy, Jason Aldean. Why is this important? Why is it important to know that Jason Aldean was the person that was performing the day that the whole Las Vegas incident took place? Well, it could be right there in our face, like usual, right there in our face. Well, let's take a closer look at Jason Aldean's tattoo, and let's bring it back to the Illuminati card game. There's an Illuminati card game called Las Vegas, and as we can see there's what? A Jack of Spades and an Ace of Spades. Well, would you look at that on Jason Aldean's arm? Let's take it a step further. You have the lady here who's performing, and you can literally see her buttocks. Well, look right below the cards on Jason Aldean's tattoo. We have the peaches, which is the peach, which is quite literally used as buttocks emojis. Let's take it a step further. Above the Jack of Spades, the Ace of Spades, you have a burning hot red sun on Jason Aldean's arm. Well, you have the poker table that looks a lot similar to it. Well, isn't that something? You're gonna tell me this is also coincidence too. Why is it called Las Vegas? Why is Jason Aldean's arm tattoo on his arm eeringly similar, strikingly similar to this card? Shout out to Ian Carroll. He's already done a great job of, in my opinion, proving that was 100% a psyop that day. But again, we can only speak in codes on YouTube. Follow me on Patreon for uncensored and extended videos. All right. So I thought you all would find that one interesting. Let's take it a step further though. If you thought that was interesting, we have, let's see here. Oh, where we at? What am I doing? We have another card that is called the March on Washington. Here's another incident that I can freely speak about on YouTube. The first and only strike I've ever gotten on my channel was about this incident many years ago. I don't know. I mentioned Owen Schroyer earlier. It was the event that he was allegedly jailed for attending and participating in. It was the same event that our good old quote unquote Fed buddy Nick Fuentes attended. If you haven't guessed it just yet, let me help you out a little bit more. It took place in January of 2021, more so towards the beginning of the month. How do they come out with a card in 1981 called the March on Washington? Look at the signs and the words on the posters here, particularly the triangle with the all-seeing eye on it. How would they know this? How would they know this? Somebody got to explain this to me. How would they know this? Let's read what it says here. It says, play this card along with a plot card that requires an action or actions. This card substitutes for any one action of a power of 6 or less. And there's that number again, 6 or less. Okay. How did they know this? Do they have a psychic ball? Or are they only showing us what the plans are ahead of time? Could it be that Steve Jackson is showing us what the plans is ahead of time? Well, we didn't come to play today. Let's take it a step further, because there's another card called Epidemic. Now, surprise, surprise, this is another thing I can't freely just speak about on YouTube without getting flagged. So you all will be able to do the work for me. I'll make the chat live on the screen so people can freely say what they want. How did they know this? You know, the event that took place in 2020 that nobody could have predicted, nobody could have known was coming. And just in case you think, well, there are other incidents that took place and there are other epidemics that took place, how do you know it was about that one? Are you willing to down that hill? Because now you're going to have to explain this card. Center for Disease Control, where you can see a scientist or a doctor discovering or accidentally discovering or releasing a new virus. What is this? Y'all still think we voted Trump into the White House? You still think that these things are just taking place? Or do you think it's like this game, it's like this life is a game of Sims? It's like we're the cattle, right? The lab rats. Can anybody explain this card to me, right? They're interchangeable. These two cards are interchangeable. There's an epidemic and then there's a Center for Disease Control. What they explain to you how the epidemic and the quarantine would take place 35 years before, almost 40 years before. Okay. Well, let's take it a step further. This is one of my favorites. I have to show you all this one because this one, I mean, if you were able to muster up some version or some level of explanation for these things, I want to see what explanation you have for this one. Somebody got to explain this card to me. It's called censorship. For those of you that can't see it, maybe your eyesight is not the best. It's called censorship and political correctness. These are two separate cards. Why is this relevant? Well, specifically the second card. I personally want to talk about that one. I want you to read the sign on the first guy. It says used insensitive pronoun. The card game was created in 1981, won an award in 1982, was then reintroduced, if you will, in early 1990s. When did pronouns, mispronouncing people, men can be women, men can be cats and dogs, when did that even become, for lack of a better term, an epidemic in this country? When did that become a whole frenzy in itself? When you say in the last 10, 15 years, you can't go much further back than that. 2020, sometime around that time, things got weird with all of a sudden we don't know what a woman is. All of a sudden we know the difference between men and women. All of a sudden, if you just say that you're a woman, you can compete against women. You can go in their locker rooms. All of a sudden we're talking about gender affirming care. What is that? What is this word affirm? How did they do this? Specifically that granular detail in 1980 and 1990. That wasn't an issue in the 90s. That wasn't an issue in the early 2000s. I'm not saying that transgenders did not exist. Not what I'm saying. This was not an issue. Somebody got to explain this to me. And people are failing to do it. People are failing to do it. Right? Says this isn't a freedom of speech issue. This is a decency issue. We're closing you down. Didn't that start to take place in 2020? People was getting fired. I'm one of those people. But we ain't got to talk about that. People getting fired, businesses getting shut down, CEOs stepping down because they misgendered somebody, because they weren't, quote unquote, progressive enough. This is Freemasonic predictive programming. These people are playing games. And just because I want to be relevant, well, let's read what the other one says first. Good thoughts are now required. That's what the second card says. New World Order, political correctness. A word? Is that right? Let's take it a step further. Okay. We got to talk about this one. Now, let's get the obvious one out the way. This card is entitled NASA, where it is displaying, I wish I could zoom in, what appears to be a moon landing that was staged. There's a camera right there as if this is some sort of video shoot with the light shining down just so you're clear that this is a staged event, quote unquote, allegedly. All right. Why do I also want to talk about this card? Why do I want to share this as the last card? Well, because we just had Artemis 2 take place. You know, the event that happened April 1st of this year on April Fool's Day. It's like they play in our face. Where this time, the difference between Artemis 2 and Artemis 1 is that this time they're actually going to send astronauts to outer space for the first time in so long. Okay. You know what else they did? On April 1st, they featured Kanye West's SoFi concert. Why is that important? Because they used celebrities to help warp and shape the minds of the masses, of us. We're the masses, we're the cattle, we're the lab rats. Why is this also relevant? Because Kanye West would perform on a stage that is one of the greatest visual stage performances I've ever seen, where the stage throughout different times of the performance would turn from an earth to a moon, from an earth to a moon. This is also the same Kanye West, or Ye, or the blasphemous name Yeezus, who would drop a music video entitled Father, featuring none other than Travis Scott, where in this video, they display or showcase two astronauts taking the mask off of Kanye West to display an alien, an extraterrestrial being, and to the astronauts, with a saucer, a flying saucer displayed outside of the church, which all ties back to Gnosticism. I would highly encourage you go and watch that video. Dropped it a day and a half ago. I would highly encourage you. That video, that Kanye West video, is going to blow your mind. You should go and watch it. And then go and watch the Trump video before that. They are connected, I promise you. And then, yes, thank you, there's a Michael Jackson guy in the back pew of Kanye West's video, which is showcasing to you that Kanye West is not in control of what Kanye West does. The astronauts are. What do you mean the astronauts, Didi? The handlers in the industry. The people that are above. You know, astronauts go to the moon. They're so high, right? Metaphors, similes. Kanye West is not even in control of Kanye West. His handlers are, right? Just like Trump. To tie me back to this, to wrap this video up, Trump is not in control of Trump. That's why it's so easy for them to do what they're doing, because you all are the idiots, myself included. We're the idiots. You really thought that you can vote me in office? You didn't get me in office. I'm Donald Trump, the same Donald Trump that said that I would never. I'm going to show you all this clip before we get up out of here, actually. I need to show you all this. Even though I'm sure you all are aware of this, I want you to hear Donald Trump say out of his own mouth that he would never accept any money from anybody. He doesn't need their money. Just so Trump can do what, I probably need to put y'all onto a Twitter page. Me and this guy's been talking the same language for like 2 years. It's sausage something. It's a funny name, twin sausage or something. But we were literally telling people before Trump got back in office, Trump is not who y'all think he is. Trump is going to get into the White House. Of course, we can't predict exactly what he's going to do, but Trump is, don't be fooled. Don't be surprised if things don't go quite the way you think. Sure enough, that's what Trump did. But let me scroll past these new Erika Kirk videos that I've been watching. I saw what she posted yesterday, but again, it's not big enough news for me to post about it. Like I said, I'm only going to talk about it if it's important enough. It was borderline enough, but where is the video at? Where is the video at? Where is the video at? There it is. Here it is. Let me show you all. And you take with this video and you do as you please with it. You do what you please with it. If I can say it and not spray it. Here we are. Shout out to Anomaly. Let's listen loudly. This is the MAGA leader. You know, the only person in history that you're supposed to have an allegiance to when obviously politicians are supposed to have allegiance to the people. Never forget that. Let's listen to what good old Donald Trump had to say.
Because I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money. I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care.
Miriam gave my campaign indirectly, 250 million. She was number one.
Million.
Because I don't need anybody's money. It's nice. I don't need anybody's money. I'm using my own money.
Yeah.
I'm not using the lobbyists. I'm not using donors. I don't care.
Miriam gave my campaign indirectly, 250 million.
Yeah. As somebody in the crowd said, yeah. It's almost like he's two different people. What if it's easier for these people to sleep at night because you were never a part of the plan, you being the people, you being us. We have an agenda. Let's pretend to be this. We're going to play this role. Then when we get in there, we're going to flip and do the things we want to do. You were going to get in the White House regardless, Trump, regardless. But we had to convince people that it made sense for you to get back into the White House. How? By making them believe that the left was so bad that no one would question it, which is why I struggle. I still struggle. I know a lot of you all already told Candace is a part of the circus. She's controlled opposition. I'm just waiting for Candace to do something to give me reason to tell y'all that, okay, now she's giving me reason to believe that. But as long as she's saying things that are agreeable, I have no reason to bash the woman. That's what I'll say for now. She's speaking truth, but just know it's a Freemasonic tactic, that being duality, to play both sides. It's called duality. Good guy, bad guy. Good cop, bad cop. White, black, right? Republican, Democrat.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.